Good morning, good afternoon. This is Jeremy Martin, Vice President for Energy and Sustainability at the Institute of the Americas, co-host of the Madrid Energy Conference. The fourth edition is set for April 18th and 20th, of course, in Madrid, Spain. And we're very pleased to welcome back as one of our principal sponsors for the Madrid Energy Conference, Atlas Renewable Energy, a very important developer of projects across key markets in Latin America, the Caribbean, and also starting to develop in Iberia and Spain. We have with us today Camilo Serrano, who is the Regional General Manager for Spain, Mexico, and Colombia from Atlas Renewable Energy, joining us from Madrid. Hello, Camilo. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
It is a great pleasure to welcome back Atlas Renewable Energy and to speak as part of our curtain raiser interview series for the Madrid Energy Conference, to be able to speak with Camilo. We have Camilo participating, and we're thrilled to have him joining a panel that's called Ensuring a Diverse Market of Renewable Developers in Latin America. And so the key element of this is something I want to get right into with Camilo, and that's what are, in general terms, the success factors, or what are the key factors that you've seen from Atlas Renewable Energy's perspective as a developer, as a developer in key markets in the region, to be able to indeed ensure that there is a diverse market of players in the space. Just some general thoughts to start, and then we'll get into some specifics of your projects.
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, so I think, first of all, the fundamentals need to be there. You need to be able to solve a problem with your project. I think when that happens, you ensure that the project will be developed and obviously will be built and operated. I think we had a very good example of that for the last couple of years in Mexico. One of our main projects was able to essentially supply energy in a very undeserved area in the country, and given all the situation that was taking place at the time, the project managed to survive and was built, and essentially is solving the issue for the state-owned utility. I think that's one key factor. Another factor that I would like to highlight is you need to have very good relationships at all levels. Okay. Not only with the government, in the case of Mexico in particular, I would say at the federal level, but also at the state level and with the government agencies. I think it's important that you develop those relationships, that they see you as a very respected and well-renowned developer, and that you make sure that whenever you're having, because you're going to face so many situations during project development, that you have good access and that you can work with them to solve the issues that you're facing, right? So I think obviously there are many other factors, but I would like to highlight those two, particularly for Mexico.
It's an interesting point, and let's take Mexico. I think let's continue to take your success factors or your key factors, and why don't you share the example? I think you started to allude to a project, if I'm not mistaken, in Yucatan, and so why don't you tell us a little bit about, because I think that project or your work in Mexico could be very illustrative of these points, how you overcame challenges and frankly, executed a complex project. How did that pan out? So share that example from Mexico, please.
Yeah, sure. So our project, it's a 445 megawatt peak solar project located in Campeche State in the Yucatan Peninsula. This project was developed, financed and constructed during from 2020 until 2023, so right in the middle of a pandemic. But not only that, also in the middle of, I would say, one of the most controversial moments in the energy sector in Mexico in the past 85 years, right? As you probably know, there were many initiatives from the government to modify and amend the regulatory framework. So our project was caught in the middle of that situation. And I think I would say the main point that allows us to survive that environment is that our project was solving an issue for the government, and particularly for the CFE, the state-owned utility. The location, the project was planned to supply almost 20% of the demand of the Yucatan Peninsula during certain moments. So, the southern Mexico is one of the regions that the government has invested a lot. There are many infrastructure projects being built, the Maya train, the refinery, Dos Bocas, and this project fitted right into one of those initiatives. So we experienced, as a matter of fact, during those years, blackouts in the area, and it made very evident that the energy was required. So the peninsula was a net importer of, and still is a net importer of energy, but our project was solving, I would say, like a portion of that issue, right? So whenever we sat down with the government, this was, I would say, a key point. We're here
solving their challenge problem.
Exactly. We can help you, and we can do it fast. And we have a project that not only will bring energy to the peninsula, but it will bring jobs to an area that require a lot of jobs. So we're going to train people, and we're going to improve the lives of the communities surrounding our project. Let's not forget, this was an enormous project, 1,200 hectares, an investment over $400 million, and the first utility scale project renewable in Campeche. So it was,
and the off-taker was CFE, is that correct?
Yes, this was a project
100% CFE off-take.
Yeah, it was an off-take. And I think going back to the key factors, the other was the relationships. I think we had an excellent relationship with at the state level with the governor of Campeche. She was very excited about the project. That helped a lot. Obviously, navigating the complicated circumstances from a regulatory standpoint, and also with our off-taker, we had a good track record on a previous project with CFE. So they were very keen on working with us again. They were always open door with us and trying to work. We were very careful as to maintain and cultivate a very, I would say, image of seriousness. We tried to avoid as much as possible any situation where we could be seen as, I would say, confronting them, right? Let's not forget there were many changes taking place. We're talking about implementing new laws, modifying the Constitution.
Right, the big debate around.
Yes, exactly. So it was very complicated times, but we were always very careful as to how we position ourselves and how we work together with the government to get the project across the finish line. Let's not forget that issuing permits during those years was very difficult, and we managed to renew our permits, and it was very complicated, but this was all possible because, again, we were solving an issue for them, and we were seen as people heavily investing in committing to get this project to the right place, providing job opportunities in a very undeserved region from an infrastructure perspective and also from an energy perspective. So to me, those were I would say, among many other factors, I would say those were the two key factors.
When did it commence operations? When did you start delivering electricity to CFE?
So we started delivering back in a year ago.
Okay.
So we started the commissioning in March 2022, and we finished the commissioning in August 2022.
So this is a really, new project. And I think you said something which will be a great segue to our final point I'd like to bring up. You said, fundamentals always need to be there, right? And I think, sort of key factors. You made some clear points about relationships, perhaps avoiding adversarial positions unless absolutely necessary, but the fundamentals. So let's talk about fundamentals and financing, right? Because you also mentioned how you brought this project execution very quickly. So I'd be interested to understand your thoughts on the role of financing, and whether it's this example or others you want to point to, and how you've leveraged innovative and financing to develop your projects in Mexico, but elsewhere.
So yeah, as you can imagine, when you're investing over $400 million, you want to have financing in place as well. It was not an easy process. It did take us close to 18 months door to door from the moment we started until we concluded disbursement. I think one of the key lessons was we should have been more flexible. I think it's better to have sometimes a less optimal solution than no solution at all. And this is what happened to us at some point. We had to change a couple of times our financing strategy. I think we understood that we needed, given the environment, we needed to be flexible, and we were probably not getting exactly what we wanted, but it did work in any way. So just to give you an example, we were looking for a long-term project finance, very standard, and at some point with the multilateral institutions in Mexico, and at some point one of them decided not to participate after going through all the diligence. So we had to reinvent ourselves, and we went with the commercial banks, and the solution was different. It was not a long-term project finance, it was a mini-perm solution, but again, it was solving our problem. We would have preferred having a long-term project finance, but this worked, and I think we had, I would say, the right decision to go for it. And again, the other thing that helped us a lot was our name, our track record in the region. Our sponsor back in at that time also had impeccable credentials.
Sponsor mean the principal or the owner of
exactly, our shareholder back in at the time. So we had a good outcome, I would say. But then again, the message is you need to be flexible, you need to be agile, and even if you get a suboptimal solution, but that solves your problem, if you're working in such a volatile regulatory environment, that's what you should do.
I'm glad you said that, because that happens to be almost the exact name of another panel at the Madrid Energy Conference. With regards to sort of the disruption we're living in and the volatility, and how do you regulate volatility, right? And so this is something your project, in this case, experienced firsthand, navigating that volatile regulatory and pandemic financing environment. So it's a fascinating example. I want to leave it there, because the idea is a curtain raiser. We want to just sort of preview. We don't want you to share all of your thoughts for the panel here, because then maybe people won't listen or turn up. No, I'm just kidding. They'll of course be there. But Camilo Serrano will be joining us at the Madrid Energy Conference on our Ensuring a Diverse Market of Renewable Developers panel. These have been fascinating thoughts, particularly with regards to sort of this navigating of the pandemic on top of the political, on top of the financial. So thank you so much for sharing with us. The Madrid Energy Conference, April 18th through 20th. Like I said, we're very pleased to welcome back and have Atlas Renewable Energy again with us as a principal sponsor. Thanks so much, Camilo. We look forward to seeing you in person in just a few weeks, actually, just under 3 weeks away. It's coming fast. So thank you again.
Thank you very much, Jeremy, and looking forward to participate at the panel.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.